battled with for many, many years now. But that hamstring problem does not count her out of this race. She's a great champion.
This is the look back to the Weltklasse meet. The word means world class in Zurich, and it certainly was. Devers out clear of the field, but Gloria Lozzi kept challenging on the inside. Devers unable to drive hard off that right leg, which was a problem. And she wound up losing to Gloria Lozzi from Spain. We caught up with Gail and asked her how the slightest mistake can be disastrous in hurdling.
If I make a mistake, then, you know, somebody's always right there next to me to capitalize off of that. So my goal is really just to concentrate on myself. I don't get on the line thinking about what they're doing. I mean, I think Bridget has had an exceptional year this year. She's run very fast and very consistent to get as many PRs as she has this year. But my focus going on the line tonight will not be focusing on her. It will be focusing on the finish line.
And number 55 is the woman she's referring to, Bridget Foster from Jamaica, who's had a terrific season. And there you see in lane 5 will be Gail Devers. And she's coming back after 9 days off, trying to rest that hamstring, Michael.
Yeah, but, you know, she wouldn't be in this race if she wasn't ready to go. Now, she may have lost a little sharpness because in the hurdles it is very important to be sharp coming into these races. But she knows that she's got Foster, who beat Devers 2 weeks ago in London in this race. And then also we haven't talked about Anjanette Kirkland, who's also in this race in lane 4. She's coming on at the end of the season, running her season's best of 12.62 per second behind Devers last week in Brussels.
Devers usually gets out first. The rest of the top runners have been kind of catching her towards the end, which has not been customary in past years. Devers over the hurdle first. It is Devers with a slight lead. Foster to her left is running well. Devers still with the lead. Here comes Foster. Foster's front leg is down first. It is Devers getting up just for second place in 12.62 seconds. Win not a factor. Terrific victory for Bridget Foster.
That was a terrific victory by Foster. She smelled blood. She knew that Gail Devers obviously wasn't at her best. Devers still got a very good start, still first to the first hurdle. But Bridget Foster over in lane 3, maintaining her form in this race, knowing that if she maintains her focus, she can win the race. Anjanette Kirkland also in it, making ground on Gail Devers as well. Devers just not her typical self. At this point, we usually see her pulling away. She's very quick between the hurdles. Obviously, she's lost a little sharpness, not in her hurdle technique, but a little bit of that quickness between the hurdles.
Let's get out to Carol Lewis.
Well, Gail, you had it all wrapped up to about what, hurdles 6 or 7? Looked like you got a little close.
10 actually. Anjanette and I bumped arms, so I don't know if that made a difference. But you know, it's been a great season. Competitors have been running very well in the 100-meter hurdles, and you know, to get to the last race, and Anjanette said I hurt her arm. I'm like, she hurt my arm too, but I mean, I think it says something for the women's 100-meter hurdles because everybody's been running very consistent this year, and it's been a great year of competition.
Well, it certainly has, and Bridget Foster is all smiles as she edges by 3/100ths of a second the past Olympic champion Gail Devers and the world indoor champion last year, Anjanette Kirkland. Michael Johnson, you're beside me now, but what happened in this race a year ago as you closed out your career?
You know, this is all about fun. And this guy, Ingo Schultz, all 6 feet 7 inches of him, is a great 400-meter runner in the making. I mean, he's got, I should say this, but he's got funny form, as you can see here. But he runs pretty well over 200 meters. I mean, we were all surprised at how well he actually ran on the 4x200-meter relay for Germany.
Now, were you running all out in that race or not?
Well, I was running all out, but all out last year on this. Felix Sanchez has been dominant this year. His winning streak stands at 15, but he has been challenged. James Carter, who you see right here, pushing him all the way to the finish. Carter not able to hold that lead from Felix Sanchez. Sanchez coming back with the strength that he's developed over this year, was able to come through with the victory. And again, Stefan Diagana pushing Sanchez all the way to the finish again. He has had some close ones. Diagana, a lot more experienced than Sanchez, trying to show the youngster something, but he can't hold him off at the finish. Sanchez is very confident in his finish, but he knows that he's got some close races behind him. He wants to finish this season without another one of those.
And there you see the best performances this year. It is by Sanchez, and this should be a very interesting, challenging race for Felix Sanchez, who will be in lane 5. There you're looking at Diagana, the world champion. He's got world silver, gold, and bronze in 3 prior world championship appearances. And you see Diagana, who will be in lane 3. That's what that hip says. Sanchez trying for a very fast time in this race. This is the important one, Michael, for him to win.
It is. He's got to run faster. He's got to run a fast time in order to beat out Hicham El Guerrouj for the overall title.
James Carter from the United States is in lane 4. In lanes 1 and 2, also Americans, both Olympians, Eric Thomas and Joey Woody.
Well, you know, it's interesting that Sanchez is in lane 5 because he likes to be behind his competition, and his main competition, Stefan Diagana and James Carter, are both on the inside of him in this race.
But out quickly, you're seeing it is Carter from the United States in lane 4, first over the hurdles, and he is actually ahead right now of Sanchez, and here comes Sanchez closing. What a race. Look at this with 100 meters to go. With a slight lead right now, that is Sanchez. Diagana, 2 lanes over to the left, but it is Diagana who's going to get second, and Sanchez is getting the victory. .61 of a second. Felix Sanchez continues his domination. Nice hug from Diagana.
Well, Felix Sanchez knows that he can win, and he's proven that he can win from anywhere with 100 meters to go. And right here with 100 meters to go, he's just barely leading Stefan Diagana. But he's got so much strength, and his confidence has just grown. He's learned to hurdle with either leg, which gives him the ability to adjust, Larry, when he's not on his stride. He wasn't on his stride. His stride was giving him problems in London when he almost lost, but here he's adjusted and comes through with the victory.
You know, he has said, if I'm leading over the 10th hurdle, he said, no one in the world, I don't think, can catch me. And he has proven it all year long. No one has run him down from behind. He said very close races, Michael, as you mentioned, but he holds on here, and that margin doesn't close from Diagana to the finish line. $50,000 for first place, 30 for second for Diagana in this race. And there you see James Carter winds up in 3rd place, running well. Let's go down to Carol Lewis.
Tight race there, but you still have the 400 meters coming up. How do you feel?
I feel good. I look forward to coming back. I got to get a little rest. Come back. It's a real short gap in between, but I think I'm ready.
Way to go. Thanks.
Based on his time that he ran, Hicham El Guerrouj needs to beat a time of 3 minutes 30 seconds plus. If he runs under that, he will have a better performance today than Sanchez does, and he will get the victory. Still to come, Susie Favor-Hamilton in the 1,500 meters. And Hicham El Guerrouj having what I feel is his best, most consistent year ever. And Marion Jones at 5 feet 10 inches tall, she can dunk a basketball. But up next, the top-rated American Jeff Hartwig takes on the world's best pole vaulters. How fast can you run or jog a lap around your high school track? The women's 400 meters is next. And the women's 3,000 meters. You won't believe how good Gabby Zamo and Berhane Adair really are. Welcome back, everyone. Larry Rawson along with Michael Johnson, Carol Lewis. Glad you're with us from Paris, France. Let's take a look at some of the field events. The men's hammer throw. Imagine taking a 4-foot chain, a 7-foot diameter circle, and a 16-pound ball and firing it 80 yards downfield. Well, that's what these men can do. And there you're looking at perhaps the best man in the world right now. That is Koji Murafushi from Japan. 5 spins, ever faster, and you have to stay in the circle. And the silver medalist from the World 2001 Championships gets the ball out 266 feet, 2 inches. His dad was the previous record holder in Japan. Murafushi, the winner of the men's hammer.
The men's pole vault, Jeff Hartwig, the American record holder, clears 18:10 1/4 to win the pole vault, clears it easily. He's got the victory. He also cleared 18:2 1/2 and 18:6 1/2 on his first jumps en route to his victory. Abra Bouk of Israel finishes second, also clearing 18:10 1/4, as did Jeff Hartwig, but had to settle for second place because he had more misses than Hartwig.
The long jump is not an event somebody seeks out. Usually you come to it from another event. And Maureen Maggi from Brazil was a former gymnast and the 2001 Goodwill Games champion. In the long jump, you hunker down just like you're trying to go for a basketball layup and you're next to the last step. Watch her kind of drop down, shorten her last stride, and reach up. And she gets out over 23 feet, one of the best women's long jumps of the year. Maureen Maggi from Brazil, the victor, over Kotova from Russia. On the track, the women's 400 meters. How quick are you for a one-lap walk or jog around the track or even a run? Ana Guevara has covered it in under 50 seconds regularly this year. And there you see the lane assignments. Guevara in lane 5. Michael, did you prefer 5, 4, or 3 yourself?
I prefer 4. You know, you want to be able to see enough of your competitors, but you also want to be on the outside a little bit. Those turns can get to be pretty tight.
That was a shot of Lorraine Fenton inside of her. She is from Jamaica. She is in lane 4 wearing the kind of cream-colored top and keeping an eye on Guevara on her outside.
Fenton has not been able to keep up with Guevara all year. She's been challenging her, but Guevara is running so confidently because she's PR'd 3 times this year. She just continues to lower her personal best. Michelle Collins running very well right now on the outside of Guevara.
Guevara very strong over the last 20, maybe 50 to 75 meters of the race. And there she is, using her arms very well, and she has a slight lead over the rest of the field. It is all Ana Guevara here. Fenton trying to gain on her to no avail. It is going to be Ana Guevara winning again and staying undefeated this year. Under 50 seconds again, Michael.
She's run just so well this year. She's just getting better and better. She's got so much strength. Again, as I've said all this year, she runs with a lot of confidence. She runs a very evenly paced race. She looks right here at the second half of her race with 30 meters to go, just as comfortable as she did at the very beginning of the race, where you see other athletes start to falter. Her arms are still going straight up and down, no grimace on the face, just clean through the finish line, and that's how you score victories at 400 meters.
The Pride of Mexico wins again. She picked up $125,000 last week, $50,000 for first prize here, and she's still in the hunt for possibly the top 3 in this meet, which is more money. The women's 3,000-meter race was really a tactical race for most of it, and it saw Prix wind up in the lead, pressing things with Kidani, both of them from Ethiopia, and waiting patiently behind. Number 140 was Gabby Szabo. Their first mile covered in slightly over 5 minutes and 4 seconds, and the pace kept quickening after that.
Gabby Szabo knows that she's got the best kick of the group. She's lagging behind a little bit here. She usually makes her move with about 100 meters to go. Right now, she's blocked in, though. She wants to get out of that traffic before 100 meters to go.
What impressed me was the improved kick of the woman in the lead, Berhane Adire from Ethiopia this year. She outkicked Szabo several times. Szabo is giving her too much room right here with 140 meters to go. Adire is all out. The pace has been very fast over the last 4 laps. Now they've got about 75, 80 meters to go. 3 women across the track. That is Thomas Shover in the middle from Russia. Here comes Szabo. Gabby Szabo gets the victory. 62 seconds for the last lap around the track. Her last full mile will work out to about a 4:26 mile after running the first mile in 5:05. Amazing.
Well, Adire Berhane has to be disappointed. The last race of the season, she's tried everything. She tried starting her kick a little bit earlier today, couldn't hold it. Very disappointing because she put in a great effort and led this race with a lap to go and still couldn't hold off the great Gabby Szabo.
Szabo, who said I was tired after last year in the World Championships, took 3 months off, something she hadn't done in years, is coming back and still being strong at the end of the year. And there you see her, the victor, in a very tactical, close race. Still to come, Marion Jones, who, according to the Paris newspapers, has a new boyfriend, Tim Montgomery. Now that's keeping fast company. And Susie Faber-Hamilton, who twice in the last 8 days has run under 4 minutes for the 1,500 meters. But up next, Hisham El Garouj, whose parents told him they wanted him to be a college professor. He says he is now a professor, a rich professor of the 1,500 meters. Welcome back, everyone, to the Grand Prix Finals. $2.5 million at stake for one night of track and field, even more than this guy makes in one night. Tuesday Night Baseball on ESPN at 10 o'clock Eastern. Barry Bonds and the San Francisco Giants versus Sean Green and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, at the moment, Hicham El Guerrouj is trailing Felix Sanchez. We'll see what happens in his race. He's got to run 3 minutes, 30 seconds plus or faster to be deemed to have had a better performance than Sanchez tonight. There you see the best time in the world run this year. And look at the three best that he's got. All three of them are faster than anybody else has run. And Hicham is the world leader. Cornelius Chichir, one of the two Chichir brothers in the race, is just 19 years of age. Ruiz Silva from Portugal is the world indoor champion. And a Moroccan late entry, Abdelkader Haklef, is in the race. There is one American in the race. Seneca Lassiter has qualified. We'll try and keep track of where he is. No rabbits in this race. At least ostensibly, Michael, we'll see what happens here, because the Moroccans have been known in races where there are no rabbits to have a rabbit if another Moroccan's in the race.
Well, because it's a championship, Larry, there can't be a rabbit in this race officially. But there had been talk before as to whether Abdelkader Haklef would assume that role for Hicham El Guerrouj, his countryman, but it looks at this point as if that's not going to happen, because Hicham El Guerrouj took the lead, and now you see the Frenchman Faoud Chouki taking the lead.
You know, an interesting point, I think, right there is they've got 300 meters gone in the race. Notice how El Guerrouj moved out into lane 2 and let Chouki go by. This, I think, was prearranged, and we're seeing basically a rabbit here. When you're trying for a title for $100,000 at stake, I think, out of fairness, you probably shouldn't have a rabbit in here. And it looks to me, well, we won't know until the race is further along here, that Chouki is helping to tow the field along to a fast pace and making it easier for El Guerrouj to wind up, you know, getting the victory. We'll have to see. On a quick note, I must add here that Brahim Boulami's B sample that we talked about a week or two ago came up positive. He has been banned for 2 years. El Guerrouj called it a disgrace and a blight on Moroccan athletes and said if he ever tests positive, he'll give back all his money, Michael, and all his medals. Quite a statement by El Guerrouj. It is still Chouki in the lead. El Guerrouj is second. Bernard Lagat is third. William and Cornelius Chichir back up in the top 6. And there you see them again in their familiar position. And they went by in 54.5 for the first 400 meters. And let's see how fast the 800 is.
Well, it would stand to reason that without a rabbit in this race, that Hicham El Guerrouj, being the best in the world, would be leading the race and everyone would be focusing on him. But at this point, that's not happening. You do have Faoud Chouki from France now moving outside of his lane.
And there, look at this.
Allowing Hicham El Guerrouj to pass him. That would tell me that this is, he was a rabbit. He was a rabbit for Hicham El Guerrouj. That's pretty blatant to me. And now he's out of the race, basically.
Look at him fade. 1:51, very fast time by the 800 meters as he just looks around. And he stumbles. I don't know whether somebody hit his foot. Chouki is down on the track and certainly out of it here at this point. It is all El Guerrouj coming up to the bell lap here. He's got Lagat as usual right in second. Cornelius Chichir, 19 years of age, is in third.
This is where Hicham usually turns it on and usually assumes control of the race, and he's done that at this point. The only person that can even attempt to run with him is Bernard Lagat, who's now in second, and he's run some very good races, but he's tried everything this year and has not been able to run with Hicham El Guerrouj, and this will probably be his last chance. So we'll see what happens with 100 to go when Hicham usually pulls away.
He needs to win this race to stay in the hunt for $100,000, does El Guerrouj, and he certainly enhances those chances by running under 3 minutes 30.36 seconds. Look at how well Lagat is holding on, however. It is Lagat about 1 or 2 strides behind. He's got to get under 3:30 plus, remember, for this time, and it is going to be El Guerrouj pulling away and Lagat fading down the stretch slightly. Hicham El Guerrouj wins the Grand Prix final. And he's under the time necessary. He is right now in the driver's seat. It is Lagat in second place. Cornelius Chichir, just 19 years of age, does get up for third. And there are the other Moroccans with a big greeting for Hicham El Guerrouj. El Garouche runs the equivalent of a 3:46 mile, and a 19-year-old winds up in 3rd place. Well, El Garouche, by virtue of that performance, is totally in the driver's seat right now, as he's about to clear about $150,000 from this competition here. But up next, Marion Jones, who at 16 turned down a chance to be an alternate at 200 meters on the Olympic team, saying, "I'll have my chance later." And she did. If you ever get a chance to visit this beautiful city, this is the River Seine, and much of the great culture is within a mile either side of it. The men's high jump saw excellent competition. If you look at the top 10 in the world, they all stand at least 6'2" to 6'4", except for this man. Stefan Holman is just 5'11", and he cleared 7 feet 7 inches for the victory.
Osleides Menendez, the world record holder and 2001 world champion, demolishes the field with this throw of 215 feet 6 inches and shows why she is the best in the world. Michaela Ingberg of Finland takes home $30,000 for her second place finish. Tatiana Shekalenko of Russia picks up $20,000 for 3rd.
Speaking of money, this woman's done really well this year, Marion Jones, and she needs to finish at least 2nd to wind up the overall women's champion. At the Golden Gala in Rome, it was Marion Jones getting out to a terrible start. Tana Lawrence had a big margin over, but then Marion at 5'10" ran everybody down.
And getting a start like that and being able to come back from it against the best in the world shows why she is the great Marion Jones. She gets a much better start here against Zana Petrosevich-Block, their first Golden League meeting against one another since that defeat last year at World Championship. She barely pulls out the victory. A great race by Zana, but Marion Jones, 10:88, pulling out the victory against Zana, avenging the defeat from last year.
Zana Petrosevich-Block, with the best time in the world, is down on the starting line beside Marion. And we caught up to her and talked to her about the competition she has faced this year in Golden League.
It's funny because every time I step on the track, everybody's breathing down my neck. So, you know, the competition here in Paris will be no different. Of course, there's a lot on the line, but, you know, as I say every time I step on the track, there's a lot on the line.
I think, Michael, she did an amazing thing. She went home, tended to some business, flew back and forth, got a scratchy throat. I mean, you're up against Zana with $50,000 on the line. And they're calling a false start, and I must say, I didn't see. Usually you can see that, I think, pretty easily. I'm not sure who false started. Did you catch that?
I did not catch the false start. Sometimes it may have just been, let's see if we can see it here. Everyone looked even to me. I did not see a false start there.
Here's what's coming up, Michael, in the stadium right now. It's Zana Petrosevich-Block. You cannot get out of the blocks faster than 1/10 of a second. They say the human body cannot react to the starter's pistol any faster. That was .088, just under the allowable.
Well, that's why they have the computer, because the computer shows who's moving off the block quicker than that. And she may have just flinched, but as long as her foot moves off the block, she doesn't actually have to move physically with her upper body, so we didn't see it. But if her foot moves off the block, that is a false start.
Close to the perfect start at .100. She's just under it by 12/1000ths of a second, but she is at a disadvantage now. If she had an advantage in freshness, she doesn't have it now. She's got that orange card up. 2 false starts and you're gone.
She just took away the advantage that she did have.
And she jumped again.
Unbelievable.
I can't believe this. That was so clear. You can see her just bolt right out of the blocks. I can't see how they don't take it away from her.
There's no excuse for this. There's absolutely no excuse for this. She cleared. This was a blatant false start right here. We talked about the first false start. Well, we couldn't see anything, but this is, you see it with the naked eye. There's no excuse for that. She came in here, Marion having traveled back home, Zana Petrosevich-Block being much fresher, having run many less races than Marion. She had an advantage. She took that away in the first race, but you got to be in the race to take advantage of the fact that Marion traveled home and traveled back.
Jana Pinchusevich block is gone. It bodes a little better for Marion trying to get the overall Grand Prix. The reaction time that she came out of the blocks, 0.055, far too fast. It was a complete jump. Their start. Tina Lawrence beside Marion gets her usual great start. Here comes Marion Jones. She's even. She's got a slight lead. Marion Jones with a step lead in the field, and she nails the victory. 10.88 seconds. The wind not a factor under the allowable limit. Marion Jones moves in her first place.
This is one of the better starts by Marion Jones. She's actually not as far behind Tanya Lawrence as she normally is. She takes control of the race with about 50 meters to go. Comfortably leads all the way home. Marion Jones just powering home through the finish. When she gets out with Tanya Lawrence, as she did today, there's absolutely no way that anyone can beat her.
Jones the victor over Ferguson by about a distance of 3 feet. Let's get out of Carol Lewis.
Carol, I'm just happy I can come here and get the win and keep my undefeated season intact, at least for another week, and hopefully next week at the World Cup finish it off.
You sound a little hoarse. Have you been ill a little bit?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I guess flying back and forth home has its disadvantages and its advantages. I think I might have picked up a little bug, but overall I feel good with the win and lost my voice a few days ago, but I feel good.
She should feel good. She's the overall champion in the women's division, picking up an extra $100,000, does Marion Jones. Still to come, Felix Sanchez, whose family came from the Dominican Republic and through his hard work wound up attending Southern Cal. And Susie Faber Hamilton, who in Wisconsin in high school won every national honor possible. She hasn't slowed down since. But up next, the men's 100 meters with the 2 dominant sprinters in the world today, Tim Montgomery and Great Britain's Dwayne Chambers. Beautiful city of Paris next year will host the World Championships of Track and Field. You'll see them on ESPN. We hope you're with us. It will be a midsummer affair that lasts over 2 weekends. Tuesday night, Major League Baseball continues on ESPN with Barry Bonds and the San Francisco Giants going down the coast to LA and visiting with Sean Green. Some of you may see Texas at Seattle. Tuesday Night Baseball on ESPN. The men's 100 meters is next. Maurice Green has the fastest time in the world, 9.89 seconds. Running 9.91 earlier this year was Tim Montgomery in lane 5. Dwayne Chambers won his share of races, Michael. Those guys have really been running well.
They have, and the good thing is there is no Maurice Green in this race, because as the world champion and Olympic gold medalist and world record holder, it forces you to focus on him, even though he's not a factor. He's been a non-factor, but you have to focus on him. The great thing about this race is you focus on these 2 guys. They're side by side. Maurice Green isn't between them, and they've been the most consistent this year.
Green is in the stands watching. Tim Montgomery's in lane 5. Chambers is in lane 4. Very fast start. Out quickly is Tim Montgomery. Chambers beside him now. Montgomery with a slight lead. Montgomery by 2 feet, 3 feet. 9.78 seconds, a world record for Tim Montgomery. Sensational performance. The win. We'll check the wind gauge. 2.0 meters per second. That is the exact maximum allowable wind. It should be legal if the time stands up. It's unofficial.
Wow.
Damn, boy.
Wow. 9.78. He got a great start. Unbelievable. This is why this is a world record. He gets a great start, gets a great transition from the start into his drive phase, and then because he's clear of the field at that point, he's able to transition from his drive into his running phase when he wants to, instead of letting the race dictate that. And then at this point, he just does nothing to mess up the momentum that brings him to a world record.
Michael, Tim Montgomery claims he has the fastest top-end speed midway in the race, and he showed it here well. Chambers pulled up and ran an excellent middle phase, and then he couldn't stay with the highest top-end speed in the business right now, Tim Montgomery.
The reason why he has the best top-end speed is because he's very light on his feet. He's the exact opposite of Maurice Green, who's a very powerful runner. Tim Montgomery's not powerful. He's just very light on his feet, and he is technically excellent at this point.
They have just posted what his reaction time out of the blocks was. You cannot be faster than 1/10 of a second. He was 1.04. He got the perfect start, maximum allowable wind, and it is official. A world record for Tim Montgomery.
Again, great start out of the blocks. Look at him already. At this point, this is the key. He is clear of the field. That allows him to run the race the way he wants to run it instead of having the race dictated. That's how world records are broken. When you can get out there and run the race the way you want to run it instead of racing against the field.
Great way to close out our season on ESPN.
Well, there's an awful lot of money going back to Raleigh, North Carolina. Overall Grand Prix winners, 100-meter champions per day, and new world record holder Tim Montgomery. Man, we thought El Garouche was going to take away this title. You just stepped right in and took it all.
It's unbelievable. That's all I can say. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely, that's all you can say. And Marion, you, all season, you've been winning all of your races. You probably figured a little while back that this is where you were going to be. But gosh, you've got to be so excited with how everything has gone today for you and your training partner and your camp.
You know, a lot of people really overlook what we try and do in Raleigh, and I'm just extremely pleased that I could come here and finish the season and, you know, watch Tim do what he did today. It's really incredible, and, you know, Tim says unbelievable, and that's really the word to describe what we're feeling today.
How are you going to top this for next year, Tim?
975.
Big words, and you, Marion, you're going to have to run a little faster to be #1 in the house, huh?
Without a doubt, that's good. That's going to push me to run fast, but, you know, my main objective next year is to regain that 100-meter world title and just keep it rolling from this point on.
Congratulations, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Tim Montgomery, by virtue of getting a world record, passes Sanchez and El Garouche and winds up the winner of this championship if you don't get a world record by Jonathan Edwards in the triple jump. We have to wait and see, but that's pretty amazing stuff. Men's 400 meters is next. Leonard Bird, with the best time in the world, is in the race. Good old Michael Johnson has the meet record for this meet. And there you see lane 4, Leonard Bird. Alvin Harris has run very close to Bird's time. And Abad Moncour, the world champion last year, is out in lane 7.
But there's no way that Sanchez is supposed to win this race, given the fact that the 2000 Olympic silver and bronze medalists are in it. The reigning world champion is here, the fastest 400-meter runner of the year. There's no way he should win this race. If he runs 44.3, then I should say he should win the race. I don't see that happening, though. I mean, these guys know that he's been running well. They weren't prepared for him in London when he did surprise them and beat him, but today he's not really running as well as he was. At this point, we don't see him in our camera.
The camera's focusing in the outside lanes. The first 3 lanes you can't see. Sanchez is back in lane 2, and he's not a factor. He should be closer by now. That's Michael Blackwood, formerly of University of Oklahoma, a Jamaican, and he's got a slight lead right now. Look how close everybody is. Up in the front, it is Blackwood with a slight lead. And outside of Blackwood, Abad Moncour is fading. It is Michael Blackwood holding on for the victory, and on the outside, Greg Houghton, a fellow Jamaican, gets up for second. 44.72 seconds. Michael, if you want to come back, you can race with these guys.
Well, 44.72 by Blackwood is not bad at all, especially since it's the end of the season. At least they beat Sanchez and didn't let a 400-meter hurdler come in and take him out of it.
Up next, the women's 1,500 meters, and I've always been amazed by the motto of the state of Wisconsin. It's Susie Favor's motto, forward. Larry Ross and Michael Johnson, Carol Lewis, glad you're with us. Tim Montgomery stands to win right there, $250,000, unless there is a world record in the triple jump, but he is ahead of El Garouche and Sanchez. And the men's shot putter was Adam Nelson, all 6 feet tall, 236 pounds of explosiveness. This man has the longest put in the world this year, and it is the longest put in 12 years. He can bench press 550 pounds, has a vertical leap of 38 inches. What explosiveness that Adam Nelson, the Dartmouth grad, possesses. He wins the shot put, getting out just over 70 feet.
Well, Tim Montgomery is the Grand Prix champion. No world record in the triple jump. Jonathan Edwards, on his last attempt, trying to come back. He could just get up to 57.1½, which placed him second behind Christian Olsen of Sweden, who on his first jump Gets out to 57 feet 4 1/4 inches to take the competition from Jonathan Edwards. Jonathan Edwards getting up for second place, 57 1 1/2. He'll take home $30,000.
The men's 3,000 meters turned into be a cakewalk. It started out like a trail run in Kenya and stayed slow until the last lap, and then it turned into the most searing of finishes. You're looking at Abraham Chabi, just 22 years of age, taking the lead, and he pulls away from Paul Bitok and Mark Bett. But the Kenyans showed brilliant speed at the end, led by Chabi. He had the fastest 10,000 meter time in the world last year, and his last lap, when you do the math, works out to almost 50 seconds on the nose for the last 400 meters of a 3,000 meter race. Abraham Chabi collects $50,000 over Paul Bitok and Mark Bett. The women's 1,500 meters, Susie Favor-Hamilton finishing up really well this year. She's had 2 races in the last week and a half under 4 minutes, which is a very fine time. Works out to about a 4:18 mile. Regina Jacobs has been running pretty well overall. She's in the race from the United States. Carla Sacramento, a past world champion, is there. That is Sacramento. No rabbits in this race. We should mention, Michael, that Soraya Ihan, who was the European champion and had dominated some of the Golden League races, only ran in 3 Grand Prix meets this year other than the European Championships. You must run 4 to qualify for this, so she is not here in the race. This Turkey's Soraya Ihan.
We should also mention that that's Natalia Gorolova leading right now from Russia, and it's also Geraldine Hendrickson from Ireland in second place.
We should mention Gorolova was ranked #2 in the world last year. When she's in a race, you often don't need a rabbit. She likes to set a very solid pace. In the green from Ireland, Hendrickson is quite a story. She was the 1992 NCAA indoor champion while at Providence College. Disappeared off the scene for many years and has burst on it this year with tremendous improvement at 1,500 meters. Regina Jacobs is back in the pack, and she is right now in 7th place, running outside of the edge of lane 2. And she had some sickness last week, and a sinus infection was misdiagnosed. Been on antibiotics this week and says, I feel very good. And there you see on the inside, wearing the sunglasses, that is Susie Favor-Hamilton. Yelena Zadorozhnyeva in the white top, number 149, is in 3rd place. 62 plus by the first 400 meters.
Yeah, Regina Jacobs was saying that misdiagnosed sinus infection was originally diagnosed as allergies, and that's something that she's had problems with before, and she's determined this year after the season is over to get with the best doctors and get that situation taken care of, because it's caused her a lot of problems over the last few years.
Gorolova in first. Zadorozhnyeva from Russia is in second. Carla Sacramento from Portugal is third. Then the 2 Americans, Favor-Hamilton and Jacobs. Jacobs with a white top on, both women in sunglasses.
Gorolova leading right now. As you said, very good season last year, but she's had some injuries early in the season. She had a slight hamstring tear earlier in the season, so she's just coming on as the season ends, but it'll be interesting to see if she can hold this lead, because she's been in the back of the pack in our previous Golden League meetings.
Zadorozhnyeva has run very well at 5,000 meters, one of the best ever in Russia. Gorolova, again, pressing the pace down, 2:07.9 for the first 800 meters, a very solid pace. Women behind her running very well.
Susie Favor-Hamilton in very good position right now and looking very strong. She's in position to strike at the end of the race. She's got a very good kick. She wants to stay with the leaders and not lose too much contact, and also make sure that she doesn't get boxed in. And she's in very good position right now, running on the outside of Carla Sacramento.
Regina Jacobs slipping back a bit. There you see her at the right of the camera. Susie Favor-Hamilton moving up as they close in with a lap to go. And it looks like Jacobs is out of it. Zadorozhnyeva taking the lead. Gorolova second. Favor-Hamilton moving up into position. 1 lap to go. 2:57 with a lap to go. Sacramento is 4th. Turova is in 5th place from Belarus.
Susie Favor-Hamilton doing a very good job right now of staying in contact with the leader, Geraldine Hendrickson of Ireland. She's doing a very good job of staying in contact, and she is in good position to strike right now and looking very relaxed.
Hendricken has fallen back off the pace just a little bit, wearing the green. And there goes Favor Hamilton by with just over 200 meters to go. Zadora Naiva is second. Hendricken with a big move is in third right now. Favor Hamilton striding well. The question is, does she have another gear? Zadora Naiva looking very solid in second. Hendricken losing a little bit of ground. Regina Jacobs has stepped off the track. It is Zadora Naiva pulling up on Hamilton. Zadora Naiva goes by. This is a surprise. Zadora Naiva has the victory in hand and gets it. Just outside of 4 minutes. Favor Hamilton second. And Geraldine Hendricken, formerly of Providence College, now running for her home country of Ireland, gets third. Favor Hamilton with 3 top quality races in just 9 days. Let's go down to Carol Lewis.
Susie, you've had a long season, up and down. You've got to be pleased with how you had a very strong finish tonight.
Yeah, I'm extremely pleased. This season's going so much better than I ever planned it would. I got snuck up on the end, but I'm really happy with the race and looking forward to relaxing and taking a month off.
And a total of almost $2.9 million was given out. These 3 men did extremely well. Look at those figures. The ladies, too. Marion Jones led the way with $150,000 for one night of track and field. Michael, final thoughts?
Oh, great performance by Tim Montgomery. Shocking us at the end of the season with a world record. I can't remember the last time that happened.
Particularly great seasons for that man, Hisham El Garouche, and Marion Jones and Felix Sanchez as well. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the Golden League on ESPN this summer. And so for Michael Johnson and Carol Lewis, I'm Larry Rawson. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.